For 60 years, moving to Florida was the simplest decision in America. No state income tax, warm winters, a house with a pool for half of what you would pay up north. People packed a truck and drove south without a second thought. That is no longer the story. According to census data, domestic migration into Florida collapsed 93% between 2022 and 2025. 310,000 people moved in during the peak. By last year, roughly 22,000. And the ones leaving are not snowbirds going home. They are people who made specific mistakes and are now paying for them. These are the 7 mistakes that turn a Florida move into an expensive regret. Mistake number 1 is the one that costs people the most, but gets talked about the least. Let's get into it. Mistake number 7, confusing vacation weather with living weather. Every January, millions of people scroll through Florida photos and think, that is where I want to be. And they are right. January is beautiful. Low humidity, mid-70s, blue sky. The problem is that January is not June. From May through October, Florida heat and humidity become your daily reality. Your glasses fog the moment you walk outside. Your air conditioning runs 10 months a year, and your electric bill can hit $200 to $300 a month. Every afternoon around 2 o'clock, storm clouds roll in. A downpour hits for 30 minutes. Then the sun returns like nothing happened. That cycle repeats almost every day for 5 months. Then there is hurricane season, June through November. You need supplies, a plan, solid insurance, and real respect for what a major storm can do. Florida weather is not something you get used to. It is something you learn to schedule your life around. If you know that going in, it becomes routine. If you do not, it becomes the first reason you start thinking about leaving. But the weather is manageable. What comes next costs real money. Mistake number 6. Picking your city based on where you vacationed. You visit Sarasota for a long weekend. The beach is gorgeous, the restaurants are incredible, and you think, I could live here. But living in a Florida tourist city and visiting one are 2 completely different realities. From January through April, tourist season transforms daily life in the state's most popular areas. Miami, Orlando, Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete, Daytona. Beach parking lots fill by 9 in the morning. A 15-minute commute stretches to 45. Your favorite restaurant has a 90-minute wait. According to Visit Florida, the state welcomed over 140 million visitors in 2024. That volume does not disappear when you become a local. You just experience it from the other side. The fix is simple, but almost nobody does it. Before you commit to a city, rent there during peak season, not during the quiet months. The city you love in October might be the city you cannot stand in March. That mismatch is one of the most common reasons people leave within 2 years. But picking the wrong city is a lifestyle frustration. The next mistake hits your bank account. Mistake number 5. Assuming no state income tax means Florida is cheap. This is one of the most expensive misconceptions people bring with them. Florida does not tax your income. That part is true. But nobody explains how the state recovers that revenue in other ways. A Florida TaxWatch report from 2026 found that the state's cost of living has been accelerating at 5.8% per year, nearly 5 times the rate of the previous decade. Housing, groceries, utilities, and insurance are all climbing faster than wages. Florida's median household income is roughly $63,000, according to census data. The national median is closer to $75,000. That is a $12,000 gap, and it means your paycheck here likely buys less than it did in the state you left, even after the income tax savings. Property taxes add another layer. Florida's Save Our Homes cap protects long-term owners, but when you buy a home, the assessed value resets to market price. The seller's tax bill you saw on Zillow is the seller's bill, not yours. Depending on the county, your property taxes can jump thousands of dollars on day one. No state income tax is real, but treating it like the whole story is the mistake that quietly drains savings. And the next mistake is where the real numbers hit. Mistake number 4. Not running the actual monthly cost of owning a Florida home. This is where the math either works or it does not, and most people never do it before making an offer. Florida homeowners insurance is the most expensive in the nation. According to the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation, the average annual premium ranges from roughly $5,500 to $11,000 depending on county. In Monroe County, the Keys, the average on a $300,000 home is $14,850 a year. In Sumter County Inland, that same policy costs $1,620. That is a 9.2 times spread within a single state. Flood insurance is separate. FEMA's Risk Rating 2.0 program is pushing premiums up 15 to 18% annually in many zones. Your hurricane deductible runs 2 to 5% of dwelling coverage. On a $400,000 home, that is $8,000 to $20,000 out of pocket before insurance pays a dime. Stack property taxes after the homestead reset, year-round lawn care, and an air conditioning system running non-stop for 10 months. The carrying cost beyond your mortgage can add $800 to $1,500 a month that most buyers never calculated. If you are considering a move, run the full number. Listing price plus insurance, flood, reset property taxes, deductible exposure, and maintenance. If that total does not fit your budget, you are looking at the wrong house or the wrong county. The county you choose changes your cost of living more than almost any other decision in Florida. If you have made it this far, you are doing your homework before making a move. That already puts you ahead. The next 3 mistakes are the ones that cost people the most. Mistake number 3. Treating Florida as one job market. Florida is not one economy. It is at least 5, and picking the wrong city for your career makes the entire move feel uphill from week 1. Tampa Bay is strong in healthcare, finance, tech, and corporate headquarters. Jacksonville is quietly solid in logistics, shipping, port operations, insurance, and military-adjacent roles. Orlando has diversified past theme parks into aerospace, simulation, and education. South Florida pays well in finance, media, and tech. But the cost of living is fierce, and wages often trail housing costs. Then there are the retirement and coastal communities. Naples, Sarasota, the Villages Corridor. The economy runs on tourism, healthcare, and services. If you are working age and your industry does not fit those sectors, you will find fewer opportunities, lower salaries, and longer commutes to any real job center. According to HomeStats, a Florida household needs roughly $117,000 a year to afford the median home. The state's median income is $63,000. That is a $45,000 gap. If your job cannot close it, your city choice has to. Choosing a city based on beaches instead of career fit is one of the top reasons people end up financially stretched and moving again. But the next mistake can make the income gap look small. Mistake number 2. Buying a condo without understanding what changed after Surfside. In 2021, Champlain Towers South collapsed in Surfside, Florida. 98 people died. The investigation revealed years of deferred maintenance and dangerously underfunded reserves. Florida responded with Senate Bill 4D, requiring mandatory structural inspections and full reserve funding for every condo building 3 stories or taller. That law did not create the problems. It forced them into daylight. And what came into daylight is now the single biggest financial risk for condo buyers in 2026. 40% of Florida condo owners have faced special assessments in the last 3 years. The Cricket Club in North Miami levied up to $134,000 per unit. Mediterranean Village in Aventura assessed up to $400,000 per unit. Monthly HOA fees in Miami-Dade high-rises have jumped nearly $500 a month since 2023, with insurance alone averaging $377 monthly. As of January 2026, associations can no longer waive reserves for structural components. Buildings that deferred maintenance for decades now face legal deadlines to fund repairs. Analysts expect special assessments to peak between 2026 and 2028. Before making an offer on any Florida condo, request 4 documents: the Milestone Inspection Report, the Structural Integrity Reserve Study, the current reserve balance, and board minutes from the last 12 months. If you cannot get them, or if the numbers show large unfunded liabilities, that is not a deal. That is a bill you have not received yet. Newer buildings with clean inspections and funded reserves are a different story. But buying a condo without reading the reserve study is like buying a house without a home inspection, except the surprise can run 6 figures. And that brings us to the biggest mistake of all. Mistake number 1. Making an emotional decision without doing the math. This is the mistake underneath every other one on this list. In 2022, 310,000 people moved to Florida in a single year. By 2025, roughly 22,000. A 93% decline. A Florida TaxWatch survey found that nearly half of all Floridians have considered leaving the state because of rising costs. Not tourists, residents. The pattern repeats almost identically every time. Someone vacations here. They fall in love with the weather, the water, the idea of no income tax. They buy a home quickly. often in a city they chose based on a weekend trip. They skip the insurance math, skip the reserve study, skip the job market research. Within 12 to 18 months, the gap between the life they imagined and the one they are paying for becomes unsustainable. But here is what does not get said enough. Florida can be the right move for the right person in the right city at the right price. The people who thrive here did the math first. They chose their city based on career fit or retirement income, not the beach they visited once. They ran the full carrying cost before signing a contract. They checked the HOA and reserve situation before closing. And many of them rented for 6 to 12 months first, because the city you love in December is not always the city you can live with in August. Florida is still one of the most desirable states in America. But in 2026, the margin for error is gone. The difference between a great move and an expensive mistake is not luck, it is information. Here is the thread through all 7 mistakes. Every single one comes from making a decision based on what Florida looks like from the outside instead of what it costs from the inside. The weather looks perfect until you live through a full summer. The tax savings look great until you see your real monthly costs. The condo looks affordable until you read the reserve study. And the city feels right until your job market is 2 counties away. None of that means Florida is a bad choice. It means it rewards the people who do their homework. If this was useful, subscribe. I cover Florida real estate every week, the real numbers and the real costs the headlines skip. Drop a comment and tell me which of these mistakes you have seen firsthand, or which one surprised you the most. I read every single one. We will see you in the next one.